Hello, hello, hello. It's me, Joshua Harrell, and welcome to Travel Quest Network's weekly Chatter Live. If you are returning, then welcome back. If you are new, welcome. We are so happy to have you here. This is our weekly show that we do via YouTube and Facebook and Twitter and LinkedIn, everywhere. We go worldwide with this show. And this is how we wrap up our week. So if you are a member of Travel Quest Network and you are a member of our members only Facebook group, then the action is happening down in the comments below. So please keep it lively there. Ask your questions. Just have a good time with each other. Have a good time with us. Share your wins, share your challenges. We love talking about that each week. And I've got a few guests with me this week, as per our new norm. I have Jesse Mischler, who is our air services manager, and she's not going to be talking about. Well, she might talk about air. I think it's hard for her to separate from air, but we're going to talk a little bit about. She's been in the industry for a long time, working in agencies, running agencies, and she's going to share a little bit of her experience, some of the things that she wish she had known back then that she knows now. I think that's how I want to say that. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. And then our friend Velma, our group's manager and pro coach, she is going to join us midway through. She's going to go over numbers, and then she's going to stick around with me to go over headlines. What's been going on in the travel news? Feel free to drop some of your own headlines in the comments as well. But normally our CEO Jason Block would be with us, but guess what? He is with some of our Crown Jewel members, Crown Jewels members, Crown members, I'm just going to call them. They are on the Diamond Voyage, going down, sailing down the Rhine this week. So I hope they're tuning in. It's kind of late their time, but I feel like the party doesn't stop with Travel Quest Network. So they're aboard Avalon, and I'm sure they're having a grand time. But I bet a few of them will pop out their phones and watch the show. Maybe they could tell us what's going on, what country they're in right now. So anyway, as usual, we're gonna drop into the comments, see what's going on. Come say hello. How you doing? Just enjoy the weekly chatter live. Oh, also, I have to tell you that behind the scenes, not behind the curtain, but behind the scenes, we have Britta, who's been producing our shows for the last few weeks, and we have a new team member, Joel. He has joined our team, and you are going to be hearing about him a lot because he's going to be producing these shows and also working on some other fantastic content for the Pro Portal. So, welcome, Joelle. I know you can't talk unless you come in. So, anyway, everybody say hello to Joelle and welcome him because he's fantastic and he's going to enjoy getting to know you guys and, of course, working on the weekly chatter. Like I said, this is my favorite time of the week. All right, let's look at the comments. What's going on? Alan, happy Friday. Here, I love this is Alan. He said, no major news, but I have had 1 to 3 bookings every day this week, staying busy. So no big news, not at all. You know, that's just a normal day, a normal week. Congratulations, that's phenomenal. Um, Marie is watching. Hey, Marie. Our Angela is watching. She's given Alan a bit of a hard time, I think. Judging by your social media activity, you're killing it. And Alan's, it's like I'm playing referee here. I'll let you guys read the comments, but Alan's like, I've been slacking though, too busy to post. Congratulations, Alan. I'm so proud of you. And if you guys remember, those of you who have tuned in on a regular basis, Alan just recently went full time with his business. So he'd been doing it part time for a bit. He set a goal, he hit that goal, and now he's doing it full time. And I just cannot wait to see where he spreads his wings and flies to. So congratulations to you, Alan, and so happy for you. Cynthia from Birmingham, hello all, happy Friday. Always good to see you, Cynthia. Let's see here. Jen is tuned in. And then Alan was saying that it was just a good week. He said last week was kind of slow. So he's saying, hey, it was just a fluke. I don't think it is. I think he's primed the pump and that business is starting to flow. So I'm just so excited for you. Jen said, Happy Friday, everyone. Debbie, happy Friday, all. My challenge was ending up with COVID on our North Sea cruise earlier this month. The good part was seeing how Princess handled it in person. That is fantastic. Well, it's not fantastic. I'm completely being a goofball there. It's not fantastic that you got COVID, but kudos to our partners, Princess. If you feel comfortable sharing anything spectacular that they did, please do, because I'm sure all of us. I think I have been traveling a good bit, and uh, many people I've traveled with, there's been some instance of COVID, and I haven't heard any horror stories from the people that I've traveled with, which is good, which is really good. So I'm glad that they handled it well. If you feel like sharing anything spectacular, please do. Um, let's see, and Relia, Aurelia, she's the our manager of agency services who you guys get to live chat with and call and email with all the time. She is giving Jessie some props, calling her a superstar. And if you haven't met Jessie yet at our road shows or at World or in past Weekly Chatter lives, I am I stumbling over my words, or you hear me loud and clear, or are we now just speaking our own language? I'm okay with either one of those or any of those as long as you are having a good time. Anyway, if you are going to really enjoy Jessie, she is a phenomenal member of our team. And of course, Relia is calling out Velma. Many of you know Velma. She's been doing a lot of content recently, events on the calendar around groups. She's got another one coming up that I'll tell you about a little bit later. So glad that Velma is again joining us. Hannah, hey everyone, happy Friday. Woo, this week flew by. Well, did it for you, Hannah? Because it was dragging on for me. So who in the comments below say who said this week flew by, who felt like it flew by, and who felt like it was dragging, and then we'll kind of figure out. I like to do that when you're in a big group of people. When you have to go around the room and introduce yourself, and sometimes they ask the facilitator asks you to say something, what you hope to get out of the session, which is fine. But after the first three people go, it's like, okay, we're all going to say the same thing. But if you ask everybody what their sign is, you can figure out how many people. You can have a battle in the room between what's the more dominant sign. Anyway, these are the games that I play with myself that keep me engaged. That's sad, isn't it? It's very sad. All right, moving on. You guys, please indulge me more. All right. Let's see. Lisa has joined us. Good to see you, Lisa. As Cynthia said, challenge business is so slow. I'm actually considering unretiring. So Cynthia just retired at the beginning of the year. So yeah, I would love to dig into that more because you've been doing a lot of park business. You're really excited about that. So I'd love to know what changed. Um, Amy said, I got to meet the wonderful Celeste Katavis, our industry relations manager, last week on the Norwegian Prima. It was wonderful. So, Amy, I know you're saying that meeting Celeste was wonderful, but please, please, I've been on the Prima as well. Please share in the comments what your experience was on the Prima. What did you think of it? Because I thought it was pretty remarkable. It was a very interesting ship layout. I had a great time. Let's see, some welcoming. Britta, Joelle, everybody's getting some attention. Marie said, hi, everyone. Elisa said, hi, all. Elisa's been traveling like a mad person out there. Elisa, are you home or are you traveling? I need to know. Um, and Kara, Heidi ho there, neighbors. Amy, happy Friday. Good to see you, Amy. Thank you for taking time out to join us in the show. Daniela, happy Friday. I'm planning my first hosted group trip. I'm so excited. Where are you going? So you guys can't give me like one comment and say, I'm going on my first hosted group trip. got to give you some more information because their inquiring minds want to know. Our members want to know. Deborah said, "Happy Friday, TQ fam bam." Back at you, Deborah. Uh, Debbie said, "Princess was awesome to us. They couldn't have been better in helping her through having COVID on their cruise." That is fantastic, Debbie. Great to hear. Austin said, "Win booked my largest booking ever to Palace Resorts." Congratulations, Austin. And I know from following you on social media, you were just weren't you just there? You were at Palace Resorts. I feel like you were. Or maybe I imagined that. All right. I am going to pause. I can't see what's going on, but I think is Jessie there? Sorry, I'm trying to reach for a mouse to see something. Is there she is. Hey Jessie, sorry.
Hi.
I got confused. I didn't know what was happening. Sorry. Welcome to the Weekly Chatter Live. It's so nice to have you back.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
So, to get started, everybody's already been preaching your praises or praising you in the comments. So, tell everybody your role at Travel Quest Network.
Well, I've
Oh,
been dabbling.
she had to take a deep breath there.
Yeah. How long do I have? Um,
It's your
but
show. You can do whatever you want.
yeah, I've been dabbling in all kinds of topics and departments today. So, my primary role for the past year and some change has been managing our air department. So, we handle all of the agent air bookings. We assist some of our GDS agents. So we're behind the scenes on your air. But because I've been in the travel agency industry for, like you say, donkey's years, I do get
I will let you quote that.
I do get asked all kinds of industry questions and get pulled in on lots of different projects and things. So sometimes you see me someplace that's not about air, and then that's why, because I've been around uh, since we used to handwrite tickets and do all kinds of crazy things that don't exist anymore. So
So for those of you who are brand new to the industry or you're tuning in, listening to this random podcast that you stumbled across, there was a time in the travel world where you hand wrote a ticket. And that wasn't too far ago. Like that wasn't too long ago. So that's an interesting milestone in someone's career because everyone in the travel industry will say, if they were around during that time, they will always say, "I've been here since we hand wrote tickets."
yep, that's a benchmark. Then you know what experience someone has and what changes they've seen, because it's been a lot.
Yeah, yeah. And I I I still say I'm new to the industry. It's been 5 years. I was in a meeting where we were going around the room and I said that I was still kind of new to the industry. And people said that at 5 years you can't claim that, but I can't claim I've been here since tickets were handwritten. So
Yeah.
that needs to be some way I
I
define that.
I saw somewhere that Velma posted that she's going to go with 20 plus years now because she's gets scared of counting the decades. So maybe that's what I'll do too, because I started saying 32 years and that sounds crazy. So
My goodness. Well, before we get into, I wanted to have you on the show so we could talk about something that you did at World with Celeste. Um, but before we get into it, where in the country are you? I'm in Atlanta. Where are you?
I'm in Wisconsin where it snowed overnight last night in
Oh,
October.
okay. Okay. I had to put the air conditioning on, so I'm just big
Yes,
difference there.
I'm headed there. I'll be headed to Florida for the winter next week.
Fantastic. Well,
Yeah.
if you swing by Atlanta, please stop by and say hey. All right, so something that you and Celeste did that I thought was so cool at World, I thought, let's do that this week. And you guys did a whole session on, I can't remember what it was titled, but it was basically what would you have done differently knowing what you know now?
Mhm.
And like you said, you've been in the travel industry for a long time. You have been in agency operations and sales. You've done it all. So there's not, is there anything that you haven't done within an agency?
No, not really.
So, what were when putting that together, that had to be a fun project to work on, to put together a session like that. Celeste, agency owner for many, many years before she joined Travel Quest Network. So, I would love to talk about some of the highlights from that session, some of the nuggets that you shared with our members. So,
Yeah.
what was one of the big ones?
Well, Celeste and I did have a good time putting together the content, and we had a few hilarious conversations of our um, decades in the industry, and we called this session "Been There, Done That." So um, we had some topics where, based on where we began in the industry and now how much better and efficient you can do things, what things we would have embraced sooner. And then we also let the room kind of steer the topics on what questions they had, and where we dived in deeper was, I can't even remember all the places we took a left turn and talked about all kinds of great topics. But some of the things that we planned to talk about were a lot based on technology, because when we started, there was not the technology of a CRM.
Okay.
So I worked in many, many offices, and I think there are still some today, using index cards for their client info and file folders for each trip. And sometimes I'm sure you have to do that to a point, but like my example would be an agency that I went into about 15, 20 years ago that was still all paper. They had oodles and oodles of file cabinets and paper, paper, paper. And so I completely um, took it electronic. We
Really?
didn't print anything. I got them on a new CRM and a new accounting system, and just went cold turkey. And everybody hated it at first because it's very uncomfortable doing something a new way. And it took a little while of training and getting used to, but by 1 year's time, when they could now pull up someone's profile and see all their past travel history and have everything at their fingertips, by then they were saying, I don't know what we did without this. Thanks for making us do this. So that is something that I would do way sooner. And even just organizing yourself and your processes to go electronic, it's perfectly fine to start out with a checklist or a spreadsheet or whatever until you get your process down. But
Hmm.
then the more and more that you can make that electronic, the less repetitive work that you're doing. If you have a set of emails that go out for each customer every trip, you want to save that and not be rewriting it. And so having those canned emails and just knowing what your sales process is gets you off to a good organized start. And then it also is great for setting expectations with your customer. I know
Mm.
when I was new in the industry, I sort of let the customer rule how the sales process went. I thought the customer is the boss. So whatever they ask of me, I'll do that, and I'll just follow their lead. And you really end up inventing the wheel with each customer because it's all going every direction. So when
Right.
you invent your sales process and what works for you, then you set that expectation with the customer, and it makes everything go much more smoothly. They know now that your quotes are going to come within the next 2 days instead of them emailing you 10 times today. Where's my quotes?
Hmm.
Expecting it to be some instant process. So just letting them know this is how it works for me, then there you have a happy customer when they know what to expect.
That's it's interesting that you say that because I'm sure there are people that are that are hearing you say that and they're thinking, "Oh, wow, you dictating the process,
Yeah.
and not like letting the customer drive. Oh, that doesn't sound good. That doesn't sound like good customer service." But while it might sound like a scary proposition, you're really actually giving, oh, all of a sudden, one of my lights just like kicked up. So I am blinded by the light right now. Sorry. Um, sorry, I got really distracted by that. But by really dictating what that process is, you're actually giving them a lot of confidence. They're not checking up on you because you've set those expectations.
Hmm.
And if they're getting thorough communications that you've kind of crafted over time to make sure they include all the bits and pieces that, when you have one trip that you've put together, this information was missing, you fix that in your template and you make sure you've got it for the next one. It does make it gives a lot of confidence. And at the end of the day, working with a travel advisor, it's the expertise, the knowledge, and the confidence that it's going to go the way you expect it, right?
Exactly. Now you're not only the expert at the destination or the resort, you're also an expert because you're working in a professional manner, letting them know how your process works. Works
Yeah.
good. It's scary at first, but it works.
And because I used to work with our retail agencies, our owned agencies, and we moved into, well, we had a CRM, a travel CRM, and then we were sitting on top of that, a marketing CRM, which obviously was very important to me, the marketer. I loved that piece. But that did require letting go of some of those file folders and some
Hmm.
of those desk calendars. If you're really going to embrace the CRM, I've got fun stories of battles I had with some of the most amazing people ever. But it's a little bit scary in the beginning. But I think a lot of people who worked in brick and mortar locations really appreciated those transitions into an electronic environment as we went through the pandemic and we were working from home. And
Yeah,
that right there meant that you didn't have to be at the office to do work, right?
exactly.
Now, what would be another tip that you would share? And guys, if you guys before Jesse leaves, I will come to the comments. If you have any questions for this veteran of this industry, she doesn't look a year over 1 year into the industry. I know. But if you have questions, please put them down because Jesse would love to answer them. So before we do that, what's another tip you would do something you would do differently today?
Well, I most of my career worked for agencies that were full service and offered every destination. And for years, every agent just sold every destination.
Okay.
And we know now that it's a big suggestion to specialize and find your special sauce and really become the expert in that destination or that type of travel. And I did not embrace that in the early days either. I thought, no, we all need to do everything. And but eventually, we had certain agents be Europe and certain agents be Australia, and there you've got your Disney specialist. And I can't tell you how much everybody really blossomed in their sales. Everybody's sales went up because they could focus on that destination to keep up on those suppliers and those destinations and those resorts. And when they were just focusing on one thing instead of being all over the place, they became more of the expert and they could then speak so much more confidently about their destinations. And what I would say for those who still want to be full service and offer everything is to just focus on a few suppliers then. And
Mhm.
then you can gain that confidence and knowledge and focus your time on education on just those suppliers so that you're tuned in on all the changes and all the updates without having to be all over the place. And then it's also not about just one destination. I would say to focus on the type of customer that you like to work with. So it might not be about one specific destination, but what's that one style of customer that makes your work enjoyable? And then figure out how to attract those customers. It will make your life so much better.
And it doesn't mean that you don't work with the people who are not if you've got some
Right.
people in your book of business that they are not necessarily your ideal avatar, it's okay. You can still work with them. You're not shunning them, but find the people that who you want to work with, attract more of them, and over
Mm-hmm.
time, that becomes the bulk of your business. That's great advice, and I
That
love.
because that heads into that marketing corner. You love that part because
Yeah,
that honestly, it's so difficult to know where to advertise and where to try to gain business. But if you're focused on a specific type of customer, that zeroes in on that casting a smaller net.
yes, and I think it's interesting. I don't know if you caught the show last week, but Jason interviewed Tyson from Sioux Empire Travel, and as his business has grown since we've known him, he's now got to where there are agents within his company that just focus on different things or a couple of different things, and he hopes to expand that very much like the experience that you just shared. So
Awesome.
yeah, so there's a theme here, guys. So here the success leaves a trail of clues, and that is a big clue there. I am going to see here if we've got any questions in the chat before I let you go. Let's see. Oh, there's so much chatter going on about lots of stuff in here. Let's see. So Jen said she was in that class at World. It was very interesting to hear you guys' experience and your knowledge. So Jen is giving you major kudos for that. Um, let's see here. Uh, so Elisa is sharing a CRM story. She said, I use Tess and I am now using the automated emails. And then dot, dot, dot. Why I didn't do this a year ago is beyond me. It's a game changer.
Totally. Time saver.
Yes, and this is not really on topic, but a great way to wrap up our time together. Our Britta said, Jesse, other than Florida, where will you go on your next big trip?
Hmm. That is still in the works. So we were just in Alaska,
Yes.
ticked off a bucket list trip, and it was amazing. The scenery was gorgeous. We had perfect weather. So, um, not sure. The next birthday is a big one too, so it has to be big.
Okay. And yes, she is legal. It's not 21. It's not her 21st birthday. Now, did you see any, we had I got to see you at the road show in Atlanta, and we had Holland America there, and they were talking about what were the goats? Do you remember this? The goats that are from Alaska, are they called dolly goats? Am
I
I
did
missing?
not.
You didn't hear
I
that
didn't.
part? That was a part of we did a giveaway quiz at the end, and it was like you had to
Oh
get the
yeah.
name of the goat right, and I can't remember what the name of the goat was. If you guys know the name of the goat that you see in Alaska, drop it in the comments so we can all be brilliant at Alaskan goats. Jesse, thank you so much for spending a little time this Friday with us, and
My pleasure.
always a pleasure to have you on the show. And guys, you, I know you reach out to Jessie, or she reaches out to you, or you're interacting with her team. But don't forget that Jessie has a lot of experience when it comes to running a travel agency. So don't be shy. I think can you invite everybody to ask you questions? Yes.
Yes.
Okay. She's nodding her head. Yes. She
Yep.
said whatever
Don't be
you.
shy.
Don't be shy. There's a lot of experts in Travel Quest Network in various different areas of expertise. Make sure you take advantage of us because we are here to help you succeed. So, Jesse, have a wonderful weekend. Thank you so much.
Same to you. Bye, everyone.
Bye. All right. So I will fix this light that's giving me like deer caught in headlights, kind of a little freaked out there. I'm going to bring Velma on in just a moment. She's going to go through sales. But before we do that, I want to tell you about our upcoming events that we have next week. So on October 18th at 1, we're going to have Velma is going to be doing a special session on Royal Caribbean group pricing. So she's going to help you navigate the waters there, like that, pun intended. And then on the 19th at 3, we have Room Res with Celeste, and you're going to take a deep dive into their product or their software. And then on October 20th at 11, we have Lastinia from Hilton. If you guys have been around for a while, you might remember Lastinia. She used to work with travel leaders with the Amex program. So very, very happy that she has landed at Hilton, and I'm so excited that we get to talk to her next week. And again, before I bring Velma in, I just want to say Robert posted in the members only Facebook group about he would no longer prefer to have the group chat feature set up on our events in Facebook. I already said this to Robert, but I'm just saying it to y'all. It was absolutely my fault that we turned that on. We will stop doing that. It kind of suggested itself, and I got a little click happy. I didn't realize it was creating these group chats. Probably did describe it somewhere, but I was moving through it pretty quickly. So we will no longer have those. Heard you loud and clear. It's not going to happen. So anyway, just wanted to say that and get that out of the way. I hope you will join us for some of our events next week. I think we've got a nice lineup of topics and different products and ways to help enrich you further as we go along. Because you know what? I can't believe it's the middle of October. So is Velma there? I just want to say, hey, Velma, where are you?
Here. I'm
There
here.
she is.
I'm
Can,
here.
can,
Woohoo.
can you believe that it's the middle of October?
Yes, because you know why?
Why?
It's my favorite month of the year.
It's my favorite month too.
October is love month.
Oh, I didn't know that. Is
I
that
just I designated it love month several years ago, and now October is love month.
I like that. I like Love Month. Yeah, it's hard to believe that the year is almost over in
I know.
Q4, about to go into wave season, and we've had a remarkable year so far.
You
But
know what? It almost seems like it's already wave season.
is that what you're seeing in the
It really
numbers?
feels that way in the numbers and the bookings. There, people are booking their cruises really far out. I've noticed. So.
That's a good tip.
Mhm.
So I'm gonna give it over to you so I can fix this light that's blinding me. And why don't you go through the countdown and then I'll see you on the flip side, okay?
Okay. All right. Thank you. All right. So it was another great week. We just seem to have those every week, and there's nothing wrong with that. So in the number 3 spot this week, $10,191. And this particular member, their revenue for the week was made up entirely of Viking River cruises. You know, river cruising it's hot, and if you haven't sold a river cruise, please go to these suppliers, take the training. Don't worry if you've never been on one. You know what? I've sold a lot of places in the world that I've never been there. You can't be everywhere, but there is excellent training for this. So really, I totally recommend that you learn to sell river cruises. The number 2 spot, $17,515. This member had revenue this week that was made up completely from hotel bookings, flights, and service fees. And there are quite a few entries that went into making that total. But I just think it's awesome that they are making money at something that years ago everyone said we're not going to be able to make money on that anymore. So I'm very, I admire these people that can do this. And then in the number one spot, $20,640. And this member's revenue for the week is completely, totally all sandals bookings. And I, I love sandals. If you sell a sandals resort to a customer, I can just almost guarantee you that they're going to go to another one the next year. And sometimes they'll even book themselves at the next sandals while they're on that trip. And of course, you get the sale, and easy peasy. I mean, what's better than that? Let the customers book their own trips, and you get the rewards. I love that. Sandals. It's a romantic place. It's for couples. And so if you ever try to book a triple there, you're going to have a little trouble because all the rooms, I'm pretty sure at Sandals, have one king bed. But anyway, they do have the other product, beaches, for families. So if you are still in training, be sure you learn that product also. So that's pretty much it for the sales for the week, Joshua. I hope you have your light fixed.
I got it fixed. I'm not blinded anymore. I love what you said about sandals, and I've heard that over and over again that a
Mhm,
sandals client will continue to book sandals.
mhm, mhm,
So I love that you reinforce that. But yeah,
mhm.
guys, it is if you haven't gotten to know that product, sandals is for couples,
It
and
is.
I'm gonna just share a story telling tales out of school, but uh, my fella and his mom had to share a room for his aunts and aunt and uncle were gonna do is it a recommitment ceremony? What is it? It's they were already married, so they're just kind of
Yeah, yeah.
I think
Hmm.
they wanted an excuse
Renew
for a
their
party.
vows. Renew
Renew
their
their
vows.
vows. Thank you.
Yes, yes.
I promise I haven't been raised by wolves. I actually do know what goes on in the world. But anyway, he had told me that they had to pretend like they were a couple to be able to stay there. And he said the looks that the other couples were giving his mama for capturing this young thing. Anyway, I
I
just
love
thought
that.
I
Hmm.
would just share that. So also
Hmm.
learn about beaches, just like Velma said.
Hmm.
So Velma, let's go. We got a lot of comments in the chat that I'd like to get to, and then have you brought some headlines that we're going to talk about?
I did bring a few headlines. I sure did.
Awesome, awesome. So, guys, we're going to get to headlines, but if you have some headlines that you'd like us to talk to,
Mhm.
please share those in the comments. But I want to just come over here. So, Kara shared with us Win booked a France honeymoon that has been in the works for 6 months,
Wow.
and have another Europe FIT that's in review. And Thursday, I am doing an hour-long presentation to 80 plus people about traveling on a budget. So hoping to get a bunch of leads from that.
I love that.
Isn't that awesome?
I love it when I hear the members out, putting themselves out, making presentations. There's no better way to increase your business.
Yeah, and I feel like you have to make that leap into it. You have
You
to
do.
there's that one opportunity
You do.
to speak
Mhm,
at a country club gathering or
mhm. Don't
a di-
start with the Shriners. That's my tip. Don't do your first presentation for a Shriners group, especially if they have beer. Don't do it. Okay, go ahead.
All right. I'm glad I've got this stool here to steady me because see, this is why Velma's only on for 5 minutes normally because she gets me laughing and I can't find my way. I lose control. Uh, anyway, so Velma just happened to get to Andy's comment and he said, "Thank you, Velma, for the recent groups training and the training to come." So kudos to you for that. You've done how many have you done now so far? Two?
Two. And I
Yep,
wasn't
and
really sure how they were going over. So, Andy, thank you so much.
Yeah.
Appreciate
See,
it.
that's the weekly chatter. Give us your feedback.
Yes.
Tell us when we're winning, and then if you don't like the group messages with events, then I feel like Relia is the person that we should send them to. No, I'm just kidding. I am absolutely kidding. Cynthia said that she loves the format, the short format of your sessions. So thank you
Uh-huh,
for that.
uh-huh.
Let's see. So I don't know if you heard at the beginning of the show talking about the week either flying by or dragging by. So I thought we would do a little poll here. So it looks like we're kind of the drags are the few. So I think it flew by is
Uh-huh,
pretty
uh-huh.
much
It
the
did.
general consensus here. Um, let's see. And then Amy, who had revealed that she got to meet Celeste on a Prima inaugural last
Mhm,
week,
mhm.
she said, I asked her how it was, and she said, I loved it. We had so much fun. The food, decor, and I kicked butt on the racetrack. So I don't know if you've seen this racetrack, Velma, but it's massive. It is massive.
Mm,
And one evening, um, I could hear it going. It was late. I wasn't in my cabin. I mean, I was
mhm,
out on the deck.
mhm.
And it was Orlando Bloom and his family up there with Katy Perry, the godmother of the ship.
Oh, wow.
They
Oh, my
they
God.
and he
Mhm,
won. And he
mhm,
won the race. So I
mhm.
don't know if it was rigged or he's just really good. And our Tatiana joined in and said, "Happy Friday, everyone." Tatiana has been doing our agent profiler workshop.
Yeah.
I have passed the
Mhm,
baton to her, and she's doing an amazing
mhm,
job with
mhm.
these agent profiler workshops. She's making them more in depth. She's fine tuning everything. Very, very powerful workshop to be a part of.
That's
So if you want to find out more about it, look for Agent Profiler Workshop in the Pro Portal, and you can sign up for the next session. Definitely. Thank you for joining us, Tatiana. Let's see. And Daniela, which I know you'll appreciate this since you handle our group's business, she had said that what she's excited about is she's going to be going on her first hosted group trip,
mhm.
and so I asked her where they were going. She said it is going to Iceland.
Yes.
So
That's
did
all
you
I,
already know about that?
yes, I did. We've been talking back and forth a little.
That's
Yeah, I told
awesome.
her she's going, that's on my bucket list. I never made it to Iceland. I was very jealous when you went.
Yeah, it was absolutely gorgeous, but I have to say
Mhm.
that I did a little bit of sightseeing, but I pretty much had the best sleep of my life in Iceland. So I feel
Really?
like if you are if you stay tired as a person, I think Iceland has something magical in its environment that is great for sleeping because I had some of the best
Okay.
rest ever. Not
Wow.
not that not that you want to go all the way to Iceland and miss out on everything. I'm just
Right,
saying that
right.
was my
Yeah.
experience.
Okay.
Let's see here. And she shared that she's working with Scepter, and they have been wonderful so far to work with. So that's just for all of you who were wanting to know. And let's see here. I'm trying to scoot through. Man, we got so many people joining us today. So excited about that. Um, Oh, and I was talking about Holland America, and Alan said, speaking of Holland, I just sold my first Holland Alaska cruise tour.
Oh, wow. Hmm.
That's exciting.
Good
Now,
pilot. Mm.
did you do much business with Holland America?
Yes, I did.
What did you love about it? What did you love about working with
Well,
Holland?
at the time, and I hope they bring this back, they used to have something called Onstage Alaska, and
Yeah.
they would have a presentation that in your office, or you would choose a venue. They would bring a couple down from Alaska. They're usually a couple, and they would have a show, and the man always played the guitar, the woman always sang. I don't know how they. I saw so many couples do this, but a great presentation on Alaska. And you know, you would invite people in to watch this and then just sit and take their checks for their deposits. I mean, I
Okay.
love that. Holland America has very good marketing support. So
Interesting. So
yes,
during the pandemic, they couldn't get around and
I
do that.
know.
So
I
we were
know.
fortunate enough to have a virtual one with
Mm-hmm.
them for our members. But it is something that they've started back up again. So if you are in that business, if
Uh-huh.
that is, you definitely want to make sure that you've got the clientele to invite to an event, or maybe pair up with
That's a good
another
idea.
member
Mm-hmm.
in your local area, and
Mm-hmm.
bring enough people, and they'll do these for quite. They don't have to be large groups. They don't have
No, they don't.
no, because it only takes a few sales for it to be worthwhile for
That's
them.
right.
So definitely look into it. It's and you got it right. It's on stage Alaska.
Mm-hmm.
So check that out. And Rebecca was trying to guess about the goats. It's not mountain goats. They have a name. It's like dolly goats, golly goats, something like that. So if anybody can name the goats in Alaska, I would be so happy. Um, let's see. So Emily said, "Yes, Velma, I'm already drowning and haven't even been hit with the 23 wave season. So your call on wave season
Yes.
starting early. Now, last year I remember many people
Mm-hmm.
saying that, I mean, obviously last year was a funky year, but I remember people saying that wave season came early and it kind of hung around a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
So we might have a repeat of that. Are you ready? Is everybody ready for it? Is the question that we should be asking.
That's true. That's true.
All right,
Mhm.
so let's move over to the headlines that Velma brought us, because normally Jason would bring us the headlines,
That's true.
and and I love what he picks out. He
Oh boy.
he loves that technology stuff. He
Oh
gets
well.
into it,
Yeah,
but
you're not going to get the technology from me. Sorry. And
I
I promised our Brita that I
yeah,
would not say whale blubber. I
but you
promised her.
did, but you
I know,
did.
but
So
not officially in my
not
news.
officially,
Yeah.
but
So sorry, Brita.
right now she's in the background and I can hear her laughing. So yes. So just
Mm.
for those of you who weren't on the show, it was last week, right?
Yes, it was.
All of a sudden Velma ripped out with whale blubber and it really caught me off guard. So yeah, so we can just say whale blubber and we've done
We've done it.
it.
That's fun.
So give us the
Okay.
news, Velma.
Okay. Well, the news, and I chose this article because I like to say this name. I love this supplier, Hurtigruten. Hurtigruten.
Yeah. You got it. You got it. So I was told you have to bounce when you say it. Hurt to gluten.
Hurtigruten.
Hurt to gluten. Hurt or gluten.
And
Yes.
in certain parts of Norway, they even leave the R out and they say Hootie
Hootie gluten.
Gruten. Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
like Hootie
So
and the Blowfish.
something like that.
Something like that.
Anyway, they have announced that they are going to be the first cruise line to implement SpaceX's broadband service Starlink.
Oh.
Yes, yes. It's going
So
to be fleet wide.
so let me just explain for those of you who
Hmm.
don't know why that is newsworthy. It's because the internet is really, really bad at sea.
Yeah.
And I have tried my darndest to live stream from a cruise ship.
Yes.
It's not happened.
Uh,
So
yeah, you
that's
could on
exciting news.
Hurtigruten. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. So
yeah.
basically, I need to do luxury expedition, and then I can have that fast internet. That I can guarantee you, if I was doing a luxury cruise, I'm not going to live stream, guys. It's just not going to happen. I'll be living my best life, and I'll be living in the moment.
But I think that's pretty exciting. And once they get this going, it'll just spread. You
Yeah.
know how that goes. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that is very encouraging because now
Yes.
that so many people have been working from home, it's very easy to work from anywhere as long
Mhm.
as you have an internet connection.
This is true.
So
Hmm.
that is, I think that's a huge opportunity, but obviously the technology has to be accessible. And I remember that I want to say I can't remember which cruise line it was. It was a river cruise line, but they said that they spend more money on internet than they do on fuel,
Wow.
it's that expensive.
Oh my
So
gosh.
just to put that into perspective for you,
Huh.
you're thinking, why can't I have fast internet? That's why it's expensive.
Mhm. Do you want
Um,
internet or do you want to move the ship? Which one?
Yeah, yeah,
Which one?
exactly. Which one do you want? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
What else do you have for us?
Well, the second item, this caught my attention because, of course, I'm into groups, and AMA Waterways announced last week that they have a TC offer. It's one free for every 9. But what makes this so special is it's going to include the airline, the flights, and the shore excursions.
Oh,
Yes, yes. So you can actually put together a group. If you have a Pied Piper that in the past, and this happens, Joshua,
okay.
they want to do the trip, but the flights are not included normally, or
Hmm.
any of the shore excursions. So they have to come up with the money for their tickets, and if they want to do anything, well, I'm saying, come on, come on. We're going to give you, if you sell enough, we're going to give you the cruise. We're going to pay for your flights, and we're going to pay for your shore excursions. What a deal!
Nice.
I
So
know, I know.
basically,
So
basically, I need 8 friends of mine to want to spend time with me, and then I can experience that for free, right?
no, no, you need 9. You need 9
Oh, I
that.
need 9. That's right.
Yeah,
Sorry,
then
guys.
you'll be the
So
yes.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm not
Um,
really good at the maths. That's not something
I
I
don't
did
believe
well
that.
with at school. Yeah, so I need 9 best friends that want to hang out with me on
Yeah,
an
and
AMA,
then you can go.
and
Mhm.
I love AMA.
I do.
I love Avalon too. Both of them have
Yeah.
one has one side of my heart and one has the other.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
right now we have a bunch of our members on Avalon, so I heart you, Avalon, but I also do like AMA.
Yeah,
So
I do
anyway,
too.
that's exciting. And
It
you
is
know,
exciting, and they need to get this space blocked and put a deposit down and get it going before the end of the year. This offer is good until December 31st.
and traveling through 2023, or is there
In 24.
and 24?
Yes, even through
Okay,
2024. Yes.
so those of you who are trying to build out that group business where
Mhm.
you do a hosted group once a quarter, and
Mhm.
that's how you build your marketing campaigns is
Mhm.
around these
Right.
groups. Great opportunity to take advantage of this for all the
Mhm.
reasons that Velma stated. So that's
Yes.
thank you for sharing that.
And it's not just Europe, it's also for their cruises on the Mekong. So, yeah.
Ooh,
Oh, yeah.
I think that's a bucket list for a lot of people.
A lot of people. Right. Now, Joshua, this one's for you. I saw this and I went, oh, I got to tell Joshua.
Okay.
Do you know that you can now earn Delta airline miles every time you purchase from Starbucks?
Really?
Yes. And I know that you love your latte.
I do love my latte. But I have to say though, I have
Uh-oh.
well, no, through the pandemic, because they
Uh-huh.
like closed down and you had to kind of like have alternatives. Now I do the fancy I have like a little fancy coffee, Mr. Coffee thing that will make my latte for me. It's not as good as Starbucks, but
Oh,
I'm not running out like I was. I used to be like, "Oops, time for a latte." Not running out, but for some Delta Sky Miles, I'm
well,
down.
also, you will earn rewards if you purchase from Delta. You'll get rewards with Starbucks. So they're gonna, yeah. What's
Ooh,
that word when they're, yeah, you know that word,
yeah. When
reciprocal type.
okay,
Yeah,
there you go.
yeah, that's
That was
good.
a fancy word to drop with on
I
us on
know.
a Friday afternoon.
Sorry.
Yeah. So Joel, who I know you've had the opportunity to meet, he's probably like, okay, is that what this show is about?
Yeah. And then just lastly, I had another, it caught my eye that Condé Nast, you know how they'll come out with the top 5 or the top 10 of
Yeah.
whatever? They came out with the top 5 airports in the world.
Okay.
And
Hold on.
I'm just
Hold on.
wondering, have you been to these?
Okay.
Okay.
I
Let's just see.
let's see it.
Top 5. Let's see if you've been there.
All right, but
It-
but you have to tell me if you've been there because you've done way more traveling than I have.
oh, I doubt it. Uh,
Okay.
Istanbul's number one. Have you been there?
I have not been there.
They
I,
are going to be the largest airport in the world.
really?
I did not know that.
I
It's
that
a,
was not on my radar at all.
it's a state of the art. It's like a bridge between east and west. So anyway, that's number one.
Okay.
Number two is the Singapore Changi Airport. Have you been there?
I have not been there. I would love to go.
They have a waterfall, an indoor rainforest, a
Oh.
butterfly garden, and I just wonder, has Bonnie taken any of her monarchs there? I don't know. And a rooftop pool and a hot tub where you can watch the planes come and go.
Okay, so I get to the airport pretty early, but not enough to do a little dip in the pool.
Mm.
So I'm wondering what they're doing over in Singapore. That's interesting.
I don't know. Well, they have a lot of money for one thing. Most
Yes.
people in say, yeah.
Yes.
And then I won't go into too much, but the third is the Seoul. Excuse me. Number four is Zurich, and number five is Switzerland. No, that's not it. Number four is Zurich. Number five is Tokyo. Tokyo Haneda.
I was like, I feel like there's some other airports in Switzerland. So just saying Switzerland, I felt like there
Yeah,
was more. So I have not been to any of those.
really.
So I think that we should start a campaign for me to visit the top 5 airports and maybe
Mhm.
go live there. I don't know. We'll see about the
Yeah, you
swimming.
should.
That's awesome. You did a great job. And you know what? I was giving Jason a hard time. He is not all about the technology stuff. He loves travel. But sometimes he starts dropping robots on me and AI, and I'm like, woo.
Oh, mhm. Yeah,
Well,
sometimes Jason talks about things that we're like, you know,
you have to go Google it, right?
well, or there are some things that he's had me do that he had to make me a video on it, an instructional video. So that's where that's where Jason is. Woohoo. Okay,
Well, and we miss him, and he'll be
we
back
do.
next week. So
Yes.
don't worry. Um, let's see here. Let's before we wrap up the show, Velma, we got some comments here. So I guess Relia called out that I mentioned the song "Blinded by the Light" by Manfred Mann's Earth Band. She couldn't remember. She knew the song, but couldn't remember the name of the band. And
Oh,
I did not sing it. I just said I'm blinded by the light, but
that's true.
blinded by the light. I don't know. I really don't know the words. I've made up my own words to that one. Lisa's giving you props for your trainings, Velma. Tatiana said she's excited to have the baton for the agent profiler workshops, and I'm so excited that you have the baton. You're doing a great job. Jesse said there is never a chatter without a song. So maybe you and I need to do like Jolene or something like that on the way out, and Britta will cut us extra early. Let's see here. Let's see. It's uh, doll sheep is what Marie
Oh,
said. Doll sheep.
yes, that's
So I
right.
don't know where I got dolly from, but I guess doll. Okay. So doll sheeps.
Doll sheep.
Um,
Yes.
thank you so much, Marie. That was going to drive me crazy. Judy said I could always use a Starbucks card. Hannah said, got to run to school pickup, but thank you so much, Joshua and Velma and Jesse. Appreciate you all. Have a great weekend, everyone. Hannah, I hope you have a fantastic weekend. And Rebecca from Texas, I think you know Rebecca,
Mhm.
she was just in Zurich.
Wow.
Um, and she said it was not user friendly at all.
Oh,
So Condé
mm,
Nast did not check with Rebecca first.
okay. Good to know.
Uh, and Cynthia's jumping ship because she wants to go do a TikTok masterclass.
I never heard of that.
Yeah, but I think that's fantastic because Jason and I were just talking about TikTok. So I'm glad that she's doing that. Cynthia, I cannot wait to see all your TikToks because she's been in the TikTok space these days. So
Mm,
we'll see. Got to tune into her channels. Velma,
mm,
thank you for joining me and bringing the sales like you normally do, bringing the fun, bringing the
mm.
headlines, also bring in the whale blubber. because
I didn't say that. I just said that I wasn't going to say it.
right, right. And it totally doesn't count when you say that you were
Right.
not going to say
Right.
that. Well, thank you for joining us, Belma, and those of you tuning in live, thank you so much. It is such a pleasure doing this show with you. We both love it, and I know Jesse had a great time too. So thank you for being a part of it live. And if you're watching this on demand, thank you. And hey, maybe you can tune in next week at 4 p.m. Eastern for the next Travel Quest Network Weekly Chatter Live. Till then, take care of yourself so we can take care of each other. All right? Have a fantastic weekend. Be phenomenal, everyone.